Hello. A very, very warm welcome to everybody. A very good evening, good morning, wherever you are in the world. How nice to be back. How wonderful to connect again after the few weeks of break that we had. Let's just have a quick look who is there and who is saying hello. Hello to London, to Scotland, to Merseyside. Let's just wait for a few more people to join us tonight. And we are back now with our regular YouTube show every Tuesday night at 8 o'clock UK time. And I hope this is going to flow relatively uninterrupted in the future. Let's just wait, to say, for a few more people to join us, and then we'll properly get started. It's just so beautiful to feel the community building up, to see people connecting, and the vast majority of people who watch the YouTube show do that later on. So the community is building, even though it's not just a live event. It gathers momentum, pace, and energy over the week. And this is so incredible that people can, as many of you I'm sure know, already feel the energy, even though they are not live participating. This is the wonder of Reiki, and what makes it so incredibly special and can change the world, because we go beyond this three-dimensional experience that we are often so connected to. So wonderful to see you all here. Just a few words about the last few weeks. Thank you very much for bearing with me. I mentioned that in my email already. I was just meant to, well, probably not meant to, but I had planned to just go to Germany for a few days to celebrate my birthday and see my family. And then there was the diagnosis that mum was given with a very urgent operation needed. So I stayed longer, and I only came back last night from Germany. So I'm pretty exhausted. I hope I don't look it as much, but it's just great to finally be able to connect. I just couldn't really over the last few weeks. The technical setting everything up and creating the background and having the lighting and so on just really didn't work in the situation I was in. But during that time, there was so much insight, inspiration, connection. It was absolutely incredible. So I somehow feel this time was needed, and makes the Reiki Revolution a bit clearer. And this is what we need. So I'm not so sure if I'm actually allowed to say that, but I'm doing it now. So much is going on about politics and keeping politics out of everything. Well, I'm a political scientist, which is a problem because I'm very much into politics. And for me, politics is not party politics. It's not fighting about different paths and excluding people and shouting in parliament and serving one group of people and not another. For me, politics is the organization of society, a civil society, living together and organizing that. And today I just read that there is a, what's it called? A paper proclamation. I'm not sure what the right word is, at the G20 summit at the moment, and everybody agreed on the text, And everybody is very happy to have this text and to have that as the result of being together for a few days, as well leading politicians. The result is a piece of paper, which is going to be published, which some people read, which some people hear about in the news, and then it's forgotten. And this is the opposite of what politics should be. Politics should be action. And not just politics. Spirituality should be action. We read a book. We meditate and have an amazing spiritual experience. We go on a retreat. We take some time for ourselves and for personal development. And then we go back to our normal life, ways, and hope for the next opportunity when we can bring that into everyday life. I know it's not like that for everybody. So it's not meant as a criticism. It's more meant as an observation, because life always kind of sucks us back. Life is as it is. It's demanding. It's often very difficult. And we have, I was about to say, we don't have much else to do but to live, but that's the whole point. So we live. And over the last 3 weeks, I just couldn't do, as I say, these shows because it was so overwhelming. But that doesn't mean that Reiki wasn't constantly there, and my constant guidance, my constant go-to action, starting the day with Reiki and asking for guidance, asking for intuition, and helping me to cope with all the demands. So what Reiki really is all about is bringing it into everyday life and changing everyday life by using it. Reiki is about action. It may be that we act, or it may be that we let Reiki act. We simply open up and ask Reiki to take over, ask Reiki to guide us, and ask Reiki to help us to act and react in different ways. Just imagine all the G20 leaders would have connected to Reiki before their discussions, would have given Reiki to themselves and felt their heart, and then started to come up with solutions that work for everybody. And I don't in any way want to say that they are not trying very, very hard. But I doubt that many would really use Reiki or a deep spiritual method, a method of spiritual connection to use as a guidance in these discussions and solution finding processes. So I think Reiki could change a lot, but not just on this global level of asking leaders to be more guided, but leaders are who we elect or we may become. In fact, we are the leaders of our own lives. And that means we need to change first. And we need to bring this change and put this change into action. And this is what the Reiki Revolution is all about. As you know, and I'm sure almost everybody will have participated in it, we were running, when was it? I think 4 weeks ago, it closed, a Reiki survey. And to my major excitement, we reached over 1,000. In fact, where is it? 1,084 people. This is a statistically significant number. So we have statistically relevant figures about the change that learning, the change or not change, whatever, the results, the effects of learning Reiki. And this was what it was all about. It was not a survey about the effects of Reiki treatments, but it was a survey asking what change, or if any change, it brought to people's lives. And 4 weeks ago, I gave an overview of what we did and how we set it all up, because we really wanted to make it scientifically a proper scientific scientific evaluation. So we made it anonymized, so that nothing could be traced back, nobody could be forced into something. The questions were based on the feedback many Reiki teachers get after their Reiki courses, when they, straight after the course, or when they meet their students again. So it's basically generalized feedback after Reiki teaching, and we wanted to find out just for how many people this really applies. One could argue that probably people who didn't really like Reiki much wouldn't necessarily take part in a survey, but we try to broaden it as much as possible. And in the end, as I say, over 1,000 people took part. And what was particularly important was to make sure that it is the Reiki that is generally accepted as Reiki in hospitals, in professional training, in scientific settings. So when we talk about Reiki, we talk about Reiki that goes back to Mikao Usui. There have been developments with Reiki since. There have been new additions. There have been completely new systems that are called Reiki, and many are very, very valuable, but then they do not count as the Reiki that is recognized to be used in professional settings, in hospital settings, and so on. And therefore, it's very, very important to make sure for a scientific study to make sure that people have learned Reiki that goes back to Mikao Usui. And this was one of the first questions we asked. Sorry, I need to look at my papers from time to time. And 1% of the participants said they didn't learn Usui Reiki. So that's 12 people out of 1,084. And another almost 4%, that's 42 people, said they are not sure. That leaves 1,027 people, 95%, who are absolutely certain that they learned Reiki or were given a lineage that goes back to Mikao Usui. So this already means it's significant, it's valuable, it's scientific, and we can use that as a basic assumption that people who answer these questions have learned Reiki in a tradition that goes back to Mikao Usui. I know that tonight's topic is, what does it mean to be spiritual? But we are looking at this through the lens of the survey. And one of the first questions was, has Reiki improved your physical health? And 46% says yes, greatly. And 46%, it's completely equal, said yes, slightly. So 92%, that is, in total, said yes, Reiki improved their physical health. And this is how many people, how often people get to Reiki, because it does do wonders supporting our physical health. But there is another aspect to Reiki. We talk about stress levels, we talk about more positivity that it brings. And more and more, and I say more and more because I really mean it, compared to when I started teaching Reiki, which must have been 12, 14 years ago, compared to then, more and more people come to the courses and say, I am looking for a deeper spiritual understanding. I'm on a spiritual path, and this is why I'm learning Reiki. So one question number 16 in our survey was, has Reiki started a more spiritual understanding of life for you? So the idea was it a starting point for a deeper understanding? And 90% of participants said yes. The next question, which sounds very similar, was, has Reiki deepened your spiritual understanding? So some people may not say Reiki really started my spiritual understanding because I was already on a spiritual path. But has Reiki deepened your spiritual understanding? And 93% of the participants say yes, it has. What does that mean? Or rather, what does that mean to be spiritual or to be on a spiritual path? Often people talk about spirituality in comparison with religion. And some people say, I'm not really very religious, I'm more kind of spiritual, which is not mutually exclusive. But it means that one can be spiritual also outside religion. Ultimately, spirituality means just one thing. I am spirit. I'm not just a physical being. I'm not just a three-dimensional being with a beginning at birth and an end at death. There is more to me. And that means I am an eternal being. I am connected. And this incarnation is only one of many. Is only an experience, no matter how exciting, how wonderful, or how difficult. But it doesn't need to define me. I am much more. I am a spiritual being. So for well over 90%, the experience of Reiki, the practice of Reiki, helped to find or deepen this understanding. I am a spiritual being. And of course, then it's only one small step to conclude, if I am a spiritual being, the person next to me, sitting on the subway, doing the shopping with me in the supermarket, my parents, my colleagues, my friends, and the people I may not particularly like are all spirits as well. So this, of course, means spirituality. It may include the realization, I feel so spiritual and I don't quite understand why other people don't feel that, but it doesn't matter ultimately whether they feel it or not. It may have an impact on their everyday life and interaction, but not on their soul. Everybody has a soul. Every human being, every living being has a soul. We are all spiritual beings. And let me just see where I find that. This is typical of my paperwork, but it also means that I didn't completely understand, no, I didn't completely foresee how this would go. I had made a slightly different plan, but of course I asked Reiki for guidance, and this is what's coming out. Question 12 was, do you feel you have more understanding for other people since learning Reiki? And 92% say yes. Isn't that incredible? So Reiki leads to a deeper spiritual understanding, and it leads to a deeper connection with other people, to understand them as spiritual beings. It doesn't mean that we have to share their opinion. It doesn't mean that we have to share everything. We may be very, very different kind of people. We may have a very, very different worldview, but we have a soul. We are a spiritual being. We are here at the same time in world history, on this planet, together for a shared experience. So that really brings us together. And this is pretty incredible that it leads to this, a deeper understanding for other people. And this is the whole idea behind the Reiki Revolution. How do we create a society? How do we live together? How do we create, just using the grand term, a better world, if we do not understand other people? Then we fall exactly into the same trap as every other revolution before, that thought we know exactly the way and this is how we're going to do it, without realizing that this may not work for everybody. But Reiki leads to a deeper understanding, to more respect, because this is an automatic outcome. When we understand people, we start to respect them more. And it doesn't mean, again, that we have to share their views or their ideas, their attitudes, but they are an eternal spiritual being, everybody. And I think this is so, so important to realize. Again, coming back to the entry ideas about the G20, because that includes every single politician, every single world leader. At the moment, there is war. No, at the moment, there are wars. I don't actually think there's ever been a time in, say, the history of the last 2, 3, 4, 5,000 years on this planet where there was not a war, at least in one area. So people fight, spirits fight. It's interesting why we do that. And my suggestion would be that we would not do it anymore if we were more deeply connected with our own spirituality, with our being a spirit. And I would like to do a little exercise to ask Reiki to help us finding this deep spiritual connection and this realization, I am a spirit. Because this is what I find Reiki makes so different, the experience. Nothing with Reiki is theory. Every single idea, every single philosophical idea, every single kind of healing can be experienced. So when you're ready, I would like to ask you to just bring your hands together for a moment, or however else you connect to Reiki. And just close your eyes and set your intention to connect to Reiki. And just feel the connection, whether you feel any sensation in your hands or just somehow feel it in your whole body or being. And then just bring your hands to your heart or your heart chakra and let Reiki flow for a moment, filling your heart. And now just ask Reiki, ask the universe, ask the source of the universe, however you want to word it, to let you experience that you are a spirit in a body. You are a spiritual being. And now you may want to set your intention. You may want to ask Reiki to help you. That this awareness of being a spirit will guide you in your actions. And then just bring your hands back together for a moment once more and thank Reiki. Wow, this was just incredible. And I tend to find that these experiences are particularly powerful when we share them in a group. This connection, the realization that we are all spirits, we're all coming from the same source and we are all connected, really empowers us much more. Another question in the survey was, do you feel more connected to the universe since learning Reiki? And 95% said yes. Of course, one could argue, what does it actually mean to feel more connected to the universe? So, what does it mean? Maybe just ask inside for a moment, what does it mean for me to feel more connected with the universe? Is it nature, this planet? Is it the solar system? Realizing that everything is connected? Is it maybe finding more meaning in life and seeing that in a way our experience is part of a bigger picture? It's fascinating. And there were some more questions, which I hope I can find here as well. Talking about meaning, there was one question, do you feel more clarity or purpose since learning Reiki? And still almost 86% said yes. Did Reiki help you to increase your intuition? Again, almost 87% said yes. This is the language of the universe. Intuition, guidance. Does Reiki help you to find more guidance in life? Again, 82% said yes. And it may well be that some people said, I'd rather call it guidance. Some others said, I'd rather call it intuition. So it may well be that this overlaps a bit. Did your stress levels improve after learning Reiki? Why am I including this question here now? Because what is stress? Being overwhelmed with this three-dimensional experience. So reducing the stress levels may well mean realizing more that I'm a spiritual being, that I have the resources, that I can find ways to rest more inside, to find my insight, which we have just done, find this inner connection to the universe and realizing I am a spiritual being. So I think it's just fascinating what this survey can really tell us about the power of Reiki and about how we can use Reiki more to reach more and more people. 99% of the participants of this survey said they would recommend learning Reiki to others. One could argue, yes, of course. If it's good for you, why wouldn't you recommend it to other people? But one could also argue, maybe it's not for everyone. Or maybe it's something that I want for myself because I want to be a Reiki practitioner. And then I want to give it to other people. But I don't want everybody to have the same. I'm a Reiki master. I am identifying with this title and position. So not everybody can be a Reiki master. So the fact that 99% of people who learned Reiki say they would recommend learning Reiki to others means they want everybody else to have exactly the same experience. And I think this is really a great source of hope, that Reiki makes us want to connect with other people. It makes us want a better world, a happier, a healthier, a more positive, a more meaningful life. So this is very much what I wanted to share today. It's also very much the results of the experiences I've had over the last 4 weeks, which were difficult. But not just that. During the time when Mum was in hospital, she and subsequently I met quite a few people there who had much more serious kinds of cancer. I have connected with other people who have real problems, existential problems they are going through at present. And when I say going through, it isn't very clear how they're getting through it. They're just very deep in this experience. All over the world, there are people going through majorly difficult existential threats. And for many, I sometimes wonder if for the majority of people, life can be unbearable at times, and it probably is right now. Just imagine how much this can improve if we all stood together, sharing more Reiki, sharing more love, tapping into the oneness, the interconnection, the guidance from the universe, and the realization there is a reason why we are here right now. And this is what the Reiki Revolution is all about. And I did mention that already in my email. We are really getting momentum, but somehow, and I'm very much following this guidance that I'm receiving. Somehow I feel we need something in writing, something that is kind of the basis for what we do when we go forward, something that we can refer to, something that we can go give to other people, something that we can agree on. This is how we want the Reiki Revolution. And I'm just so incredibly grateful about all the comments, all the feedback I have been getting over the time when all this has developed over the last 2 years, I think. So that now really is the time to put it into writing. And well, the idea is by Christmas to have the draft, well, basically the manuscript of the book ready. I'm not so sure how long it's going to take to then have it published, but it will be the basis of a much deeper, science-focused approach to the Reiki challenge in January. And if it takes longer, the publication process, I will make sure to find a way to get it somehow out before, so that over the next few months, early next year, there is a written manifesto for the Reiki Revolution. So this is the idea, and with this really strange time the last few weeks, and I know I talk a lot about myself, my apologies, but it of course is because I know myself best. But I hope that I say it in ways that are really relatable, because I know that so many others, so many of you are all going through very, very difficult phases at present. Life is not the same it was before COVID. So this is a huge turning point. And we haven't, as mankind, taken it, this is how I see it, in a way to really make the positive change we are called to. So it's about time. And yes, Vinisha, thank you so very, very much for your comment and your suggestions, your offer to launch this manifesto at Alternatives. Of course, I will, definitely. So thank you for not only listening, but for holding these ideas in your heart and for turning them from information into a driving force, into action. Positive, loving action in everyday life. And yes, 2023 really can be and will be a year of healing on all levels. One of them will be the international, the political, the level where we are all together as groups, not just as individuals, but as groups that we have formed in this incarnation, and to overcome the differences. And I'm very, very certain that Reiki will help us on this path. But of course, we need help in everyday life. And Reiki is a wonderful help using it. And I do that every single morning. And this is why last week I launched the video about the daily self-healing with Reiki. If you haven't watched it, please do. It's on the YouTube channel. But it's also very, very helpful to receive Reiki from others, to get a treatment from one person, or to take part in a Reiki share. And this is what we are doing now, sharing Reiki. Connecting to Reiki so that we receive it and then sharing it with others. By doing so, multiplying it, opening up more and more. And at some stage, you may just want to lean back and realize, I am connected with everyone on this Reiki share right now, and everyone who is going to join at a later stage. And also that you are not just sharing Reiki, but that you are receiving Reiki from everybody. It's going in all directions. It's a complete web. It's a complete circle, a circle of deep healing. So when you're ready, just bring your hands together and once more connect to Reiki. And when I say Reiki, of course, I mean the source of Reiki. I mean the source of the universe. And then set your intention to connect with everybody who is taking part in the live YouTube show at present and who will either watch it again at a later stage or just watch it for the first time. Just now set your intention to connect with everybody. And if you've learned the connection or distant symbol, then just utilize that, just draw it. Accompanied by the mantra, and just connect with everybody on this Reiki share. Just relax. The beauty of Reiki, the reassurance is that the universe is doing the work. So all we are doing is we are facilitating the healing. We are a conduit. At the same time, of course, receiving Reiki as well. And you may also become aware that you are receiving Reiki from everybody at this time. Just allow Reiki to flow through you and to everyone. Just leave it to Reiki and take a moment to really sense how you feel receiving the Reiki from everyone taking part in this share. Focusing on any areas, whether physical, career, worries, stress, mental health, anything that you struggle with at present. Just allow Reiki, just experience how Reiki works on this. And then you can bring your hands back together once more and thank Reiki. And slowly come back into the here and now. I just spotted a question. What do I need to do to work in a hospital? I live in North Carolina. Well, there are over 800 hospitals in the United States that accept Reiki practitioners. So that's already quite a number there. Either you indeed just contact a local hospital, or you have a look at some Reiki organizations, national organizations that may have a list. All you need is to be trained in traditional Reiki, Usui Reiki, level 1 and 2, and off you go. There may be some other requirements, but that will be different from hospital to hospital. Some may require further training, but that's basically what it is. And I tend to find when we ask and when we offer from our heart our services, then there is a way that the universe will use us and we can make a big positive change. I also have one more request, and I've asked that a few times already, and here and there people have sent emails. But with all that's been going on over the last few weeks and indeed months, it was a bit difficult for me to put it all together. I'm looking for people who are happy to share their very personal story with Reiki here on this channel. It doesn't have to be a whole half hour or so. It may just be a few minutes. But if you had a particular experience with Reiki, please, and if you've done so already, please do it once more. Get in touch, send me an email, and would love to have you here as my guest on the show. And we'll talk about and explore the power of Reiki together. So thank you so much. It's been such a pleasure to connect, to reconnect, and I am really looking forward to seeing you again next week. And there'll be more and more developments, more ideas, more offerings along with the Reiki Revolution. The website is going to be improved and hold or have more resources in the future. But step by step, we are working on all this, creating a happier, healthier, and more meaningful life, and making the world a better place with the help of Reiki. Thank you so very, very much for sharing. And I just need to now find this beautiful image to end the show. I found it. So once more, have a wonderful evening, morning, rest of the day, wherever you are in the world.